climbing, I'm losing my grip. Storage costs rising, they'll never let me skip. Refunds I'm eating, returns pile up too. Oh, Amazon, what else will you do? I look at my dashboard, my profits erased. My margins are gone, it's a slap in the face. Prime Day's a promise, but it's such a race. How much will I make if I'm replaced? It's a cruel, cruel number. Fees keep climbing, profits torn asunder. Oh, it's cruel, the sellers wonder how to survive when the margins go under. It's a cruel, cruel number. Every month it's something new to plunder. Oh, it's cruel, it's no wonder we're stuck in this game. The algorithm's thunder.
Yo, Amazon's back, and they got a new scheme. Reimbursement slashed, it's every seller's dream. They're digging deep, taking more from the pot. Let's break it all down, expose what they got. March 25, it's a policy drop. They say manufacturing costs, but we know it's a flop. Give us your cogs, they're demanding the price. But if you don't, they'll estimate nice. Nice for them, not for you. Watch a payout shrink. That comprehensive evil is a corporate wing. Lost in the warehouse, damaged on the floor. Now they pay you pennies, not a cent more. Fees on the rise, profits on the run. They don't lift a finger, but they pocket the fun. We're fair! They shout while they cut our shares. Amazon math, man, it's full of errors. Fees, taking our dough. They're stacking the deck, and it's sellers who owe. Reimbursements? Nah, they're taking us down, but we're still here, we don't mess around. Fees, straight to the top. Amazon's game, it'll never stop. Margins tight, but we keep the grind. Sellers unite, we're one of a kind.
I try to sell my product on Amazon, thought it'd be a breeze. But little did I know I'd be stuck with seller support disease. They never seem to solve my problems, just give me the run around. I'm tired of waiting on hold. My patience is wearing thin, I'll never be found. Amazon seller support, you suck, you suck, you suck. Can't get no satisfaction. I'm out of luck, out of luck, out of luck. You don't care about my business, just trying to make a buck. Amazon seller support, you suck, you suck, you suck.
This one's for the sellers on the grind, getting left on red, wasting all their time. I hit up support, got an auto reply. Thanks for your patience, man, I wanna cry. Inventory lost, my margins are toast. Reps playing tag like the Casper the Ghost. They pass me around, it's a never-ending game. Nobody takes action, everybody shifts blame. My ASIN's down, I'm out of the race. They say they'll escalate, yo, what a disgrace. Amazon seller support, you're breaking my heart. No answers, no fixes, just tearing me apart. Hours in the queue, stuck in the dark. Amazon seller support, you're missing the mark.
Amazon game plan, that is the key. Seller central dashboard, that's where I be. Analyze the funnel, see what we lack, then we optimize. Sellers know it's a fact. I get it poppin', you know that it's lit. Climbing the rankings, ain't no room to quit. I check the data, they notice the stats. I keep the method, that's how you adapt. Metrics are showing, you know it's our cap. Amazon sellers, it's time to react. I'm about that action, I do this with passion. I got them like, whoa, what is this? Huh, whoa.
I don't know, dude. I think everybody's just buying stuff based on reviews and badges or whatever. They don't even know who we are. These customers don't even know the name of my brand. But they keep clicking add to cart like it's part of the plan. They see that Amazon badge and think it's all grand. But yo, they don't even know the name of my brand.
Click, scroll, build your store. Amazon's waiting, what you waiting for? Brand it loud, make it shine. Steven's here to drop the rhyme. Blue tiles, banners, plug and play. Your storefront's live, let's sell a day. Now listen up, I'm Steven Pope. Amazon Amazon guru, I'll help you cope. Step 1, get that trademark stamped. Without brand registry, your Amazon cramped. Head to Seller Central, log in quick. Manage stores tab, yeah, that's the trick. Upload your logo, flex that style. You're about to make Jeff Bezos smile. Where pick a template, marquee or grid. Drop your tiles like a branding whiz. Hero image, big and bold. This store's gonna glitter like digital gold. Scroll, build your store. Amazon's waiting, what you waiting for? Brand it loud, make it shine. Steven's here to drop the rhyme. Blue tiles, banners, plug and play. Your storefront's live, let's sell the day. Yo. In the trenches of the Amazon game, trying to survive while it's driving me insane. Nobody warns you, they just claim it's passive income. Nah, it's pain. I'm sitting at a birthday, laughing, chilling, next to a newbie Amazon seller spilling. She's like, Prime so smooth, it's a killer. Then tried to sell, now she's stuck in a thriller. Finding products, yeah, that's the first grind. Scrolling Alibaba, losing my mind. Sample suck, manufacturers decline. I'm like, dang, how's anyone doing this fine? Ship it in, pay for the bubble wrap, but they ship glass bottles in padded crap. Now I got hot sauce leaks, refund stack, customers pissed. Man, I'm under attack. Amazon's a beast, it's a fight, no peace. From SEO to PPC, the hustle don't cease. Think it's passive? Nah, you better increase your tolerance for chaos or face defeat. Trademark wars, brand registry's a scam. They banned my brand, now I'm in a jam. Listings yanked, products ranked and tanked. Lost dogs in the catalog, my account shanked. Now let's talk ads, it's a rabbit hole. 1,000 hours deep, man, it's taking my soul. Weekly negations, bulk sheets for control. Excel's my new weapon, but it's taking its toll. SEO's no joke, keywords in the game. Alt text, A+ content, playing insane. Lifestyle shots, avatars for fame, but the CTR's low. All products look the same. Amazon's a beast, it's a fight, no peace. From SEO to PPC, from SEO to PPC, the hustle don't cease. Think it's passive? Nah, you better increase your tolerance for chaos or face defeat.
Let's go to Mac School. To Mac School. Class is now in session with Professor Pope.
They got the SOP, cause Professor Pope wrote the recipe. Helping Amazon sellers grow sales exponentially. Amazon's a jungle, but we map the strategy. Brand strategist playbook, it's a guide to victory. Troubleshooting catalog, you know we got the answer key. Boosting all your rankings, turning sales into a legacy. SOB so deep, you think we studied at Mac School. Every step we follow leads to growth, yeah, it's a golden rule. Stuck on keywords, we'll find the ones that work the best. Using Helium-10, strike distance keywords past the test. Incremental indexing ensures the listing set to rise. From the back end to the bullets, optimization hits the skies. Brand store creation, yeah, we make it shine and flow. A+ content design makes conversions overflow. Need your images on point, best practices in the plan. Alt text and photo rules ensure your visuals command. SEO meets PPC, it's balanced, every step aligned. We'll construct the MKLs that drive rankings over time. Budget caps and bid adjustments, no more wasted spending. Segmentation builds campaigns that sellers can defend. Got a hijacker, no problem, we'll file to take them down. Review requests in action, 5-star ratings come around. Flat file updates, market share reports, it's all in reach. Professor Pope wrote the SOP so sellers learn and teach.
Meanwhile, my Amazon guys on the case, fixing up my problems at lightning pace. Ticket escalations, Mag's the boss. Even Amazon says we'll take the loss. Seller support don't know what's up. Passing the buck when the issue gets tough. They're the official team, but they can't comply. So they say, reach out to my Amazon guy. They're supposed to be the pros, but they can't decode policies and tools from their own damn road. I'm paying fees, yet they bring me stress. But Mag turns my chaos into pure success. Seller support reps, they throwing shade, but then admit, yo, Mag will get you paid. Third-party agency taking the throne while Amazon fumbles in their own damn zone. Seller support don't know what's up. Passing the buck when the issue gets tough. They're the official team, but they can't comply. So they say, reach out to my Amazon guy. So here's the truth, let's keep it real. Mag's the team with the pro-level skill. Amazon sellers, you know the vibe when support says call Mag. They'll give you peace of mind. Amazon seller support, you can suck my image stack. Sucking is all you're good at anyway. Bezos, hit me up if you want to sell seller support. I'm buying. There's a chase. Peace.
Hello and welcome to the My Amazon Guy live Friday Q&A. My name is Noah Wickham. I'm VP of Sales Marketing here at My Amazon Guy, and I am here to answer any and all of your questions. Happy New Year, everybody. Happy New Year. Happy Friday. I need to adjust my camera because I moved some stuff on my desk around. My camera's now all kind of wonky, but it looks better. That's probably more close to normal. Anyway, so happy New Year, everybody. It is now 2026, the first Friday live Q&A of 2026. So I'm excited for this. I'm excited for this year in general. I think it's going to be a good year overall. And I'm hoping Amazon is kind to everyone this year, especially. We have some questions that are being thrown into the chat now. Get to those here in a minute. I'll start answering some stuff. If you want your questions answered, feel free to throw it in there. If you just want to, chat and, hang out and kind of talk, do that as well. That being said, a couple of interesting things as well, news-wise on Amazon is a lot of people were expressing that their Canada accounts received a deactivation or a suspension yesterday. A lot of people were kind of freaking out about that. Anybody out there who has received that, just a kind of quick note on that. Usually this is just a tax issue thing. They just need to do a quick verification for the new tax season. It's a pretty common thing in Canada. And so if you are one of the unfortunate souls that happened to, that's likely why. Very quick process. Just go through, update your tax information, make sure that it's all good, and you should be ready to rock and roll immediately. So all that being said, let's hop on in, guys. Let's answer some questions that everyone has, starting here. Hi, Noah. Happy New Year. I'm having trouble creating an FBA shipment. The error is from stranded inventory. I created a removal order, but it didn't fix the issue. Any ideas on what else I can try? Okay, so this sounds potentially like two different things. One, if you had stranded inventory, was the stranded inventory due to the ASIN no longer being listed in your catalog? If that is the case, then you'll obviously have to go through and change how you do that. So it's one of those things where essentially when you have stranded inventory, usually it's stranded because that inventory is not tied to an ASIN that you currently have listed in your catalog, which means that essentially you need to add that ASIN back into your catalog before you can send in any inventory for that. Secondarily to this as well, just as a double check here, make sure that that stranded inventory wasn't tied to any products that had or were about to have a what is it called? An inventory, not overage, but like a long-term storage fees. Long-term storage fees. So if you ever have inventory that of any kind that gets hit with long-term storage fees, essentially if you remove that inventory for any reason to try and avoid those fees, Amazon will make it so you cannot send inventory into that ASIN for a while. So I would look at those two areas first, and then, as always, try to delete and relist if the ASIN is in your catalog as well before trying to upload anything. So those would be the three areas I would attempt first. Viper, good morning. Noah, happy Friday. Happy Friday. Good to see you. Good to see you. What happens when a customer address is marked as missed fulfillment? Does Amazon pay that fee, or do we? Are you... Customer address is marked as missed fulfillment? I'm not sure I understand what you mean. So essentially, Amazon did not fulfill the product, or the customer did not accept the product. Typically speaking, if it missed fulfillment and it's an FBA product, that falls on Amazon. So anything logistics-wise, if it's FBA, falls on Amazon at the end of the day. But you're not going to pay additional fees for potentially missing those fulfillment windows or anything like that, if that's what you're asking. What A+ listing brand story cards should we create for better conversion? Are you asking specifically? I mean, A+ and brand story are different, right? So one thing that I have seen actually more utilized recently, I'll see if I can pull an example up here for you, but Amazon released the new ability for specifically, let's see here. Specifically, you to have like the modules where it shows like video in real time. I've seen that working really, really well for people as of recently. I'm trying to find an example here without much success. Let's see. Other thing as well is as I'm kind of looking for this in the brand story side of things. Whenever you're doing your brand story, you should always add all of your different products within your brand story. Here it is. All right, so they don't have an example of it. So this is what I'm talking about, though, Frank. Let me share my screen here real quick. This section right here, shoppable collections. This is what, if you're trying to increase conversion specifically in your A plus content, you want a shoppable collection. The idea here, though, is that essentially can't, as you can see at the bottom here, you can't have your brand story in this at the same time. So they can't be doing both brand story and shoppable collection at the same time. But this is specifically meant to actually be shoppable, right? So you actually get to see that, you get to have that in there and get people to purchase directly out of that. The other area that I would look at would be just like the product comparison chart at the bottom of your A plus content, as well as if you don't want to do shoppable collections, do a brand story. And in that brand story, have all of your different product categories in your brand story so people can just find them and go to them very quickly. Let's see. Hi, Noah. Happy New Year. Is there a resource you recommend to learn how to resolve catalog issues and any other kind of issues that might appear? Yeah, actually, there's this really good resource that I use all the time, and I tell people to use all the time, and that would be very specifically. How do I do this? Here it is. That would be very specifically Mag School. So if you're trying to learn how to solve like catalog issues of any kind, catalog course is a good one. We also have things such as like reinstatements and suspensions. It's a really big one. We have a couple of different ones for, I think, troubleshooting as well in here. So I would just head on over to Mag School. You'll learn a lot from this. Now, the secondary aspect of this, if you're not wanting to purchase a course, I mean, if you do want a course, feel free to reach out to us. We're always happy to try and accommodate for that. But the other area that I would reach out for is just our actual thing. So we have a entire playlist. If I can find it here, one of our playlists specifically goes over troubleshooting. If I can find it, we have a lot of playlists. We might need to update this because we might have a few too many playlists, to be entirely frank. But if you just look up, like, for instance, even something as simple as like error code, if you just look up error, we have a bunch. So here's how to fix Amazon error codes. So I have a bunch of different episodes on this where we just go over error codes. I have specific error codes that I walk you through on how to fix. Catalog management, so fixing listings, errors, things like that. So this is also just a great resource, right? If you have a very specific listing issue or catalog issue, any of these probably have an answer for you. But if you don't want to do all that and you want to learn a little bit more in depth, then yeah, I would absolutely go ahead and do the courses through Mag School. So let's see. What Amazon business strategies do you recommend for Q1? I mean, a couple of different things. It really depends on category, right? So if you're a supplement brand, you're killing it right now. Q1 is your time. New year, new me is all the rage for people. So, if that's the thing, if you're a supplement brand, that's a big thing, or a fitness brand or anything like that, that will change your strategy drastically. Now, from a general standpoint, you're going to see lower overall impressions in January. Impressions will start to rise in February. If you have a seasonal product, something that sells typically like spring to summer, right now is when I would really focus on like your strike zone keywords and just trying to index and rank for strike, or I guess not index, try and rank higher for strike zone keywords, because you want to position yourself as highly as possible for your key season. So really depends on a couple of different factors, what your seasonality is, what your category is, so on and so forth. But ranking for your high strike zone keywords can always help you going into any season. Secondarily to that, understand that likely you're just going to have lower overall budget. You're going to have lower overall bid comparatively to any other time during the year, simply because there's not going to be as many impressions. There's not going to be as many buyers. People who are on Amazon are more hesitant. So you really should focus on two different things: increasing click-through rate, so trying out and testing out some new main images right now for click-through rate improvement. And then secondarily, that increasing your conversion. So that's your secondary images, your actual above the fold, so trying to get people to convert a little bit faster. And then, as you were actually asking earlier, Frank, things like shoppable collections and your A+ content, and testing out some different ways to get additional conversions during this time. Hi, Noah. Happy New Year. Happy New Year. How are you restructuring your campaigns post Q4? Are you killing high cost campaigns or keeping them for ranking momentum? Yep. So similar to what I was just kind of talking about, we actually just released a video on this, or at least I think Steven did recently. Yeah. So Steven released a video on this recently, but one thing to kind of note is that for myself, at least, whenever I am looking at Q1, I'm really going to be pressuring people to look at trying to cut down on wasted spend. So Q1 is a great time to restructure yourself in the sense of looking at the past year or lifetime value of all of your campaigns, your search terms. Really, if you didn't get the chance to go through and undo any negations or redo negations that you should have had, now is kind of the perfect time to do that, because you're just going to see less overall volume on the platform, which gives you the opportunity to make a little bit more drastic of a change without having a huge negative effect towards your sales volume and towards your overall impression share, your click-through rate, so on and so forth. So right now is where I would look at restructuring. Typically, I'm also going to look at this time as a great time to start testing with some new broad campaigns to try and find some additional search terms and try and hit into some new categories. So using a lot of that sales momentum in Q4 to build out audience segmentation as well, it's going to be a really big thing that I'm pushing on this year. The reason for that is that Q4 has the largest segment of audience, right? And so you now get to pull all of that audience into Q1 with you, so you can build out specific campaigns targeting those audiences. Now, there is this idea that a lot of that audience aren't people who regularly buy, but that's okay, because if you're trying to build essentially a very low cost, low ACoS audience targeting, this would be the time in which you're going to likely be able to do that, because those people are only going to be the ones seeing it and clicking out. So if they are on the platform, they're likely very inconsistent shoppers versus like a lot of those high tier, high priority shoppers. I need chapstick, I think, because I keep biting my lip because it's dry and we're in the middle of like a blizzard here in Michigan. I planned on actually moving my desk around and moving the desk during the time off, and I didn't end up doing that. I wanted to move it the other way around the room, but I didn't do it. Maybe another time. I got to take down the Christmas tree at some point. What's your process for auditing and rewriting listings after Q4? Are you focused more on CTR or conversion rate right now? Yeah, so I think I touched on this already, but yeah, this is, I think conversion rate is the big thing right now. I will use this time to A/B test for higher CTR, but conversion rate is going to be a primary just because there's less people on the platform who are going to be converting. And so if you can focus on conversion rate, you will really help yourself improve overall conversion rate once people who are likely to convert are back on platform, right? And so that's a big reason as to why I focus very heavily at the beginning of the year on conversion, making sure that's dialed in how I can see it best. And then secondarily to that, like I said, just update your listing. It's a great time to test out some new keywords, try and index for some more terms, and then really focus on your strike zones. Let's see. We have a comment from Instagram. What does it mean when I'm getting clicks and orders from top of search, 150% placement? That's a bid adjustment for anyone curious. But when I check, I'm not even in page 1 of Amazon listing. Search in incognito. Yep. So just because you have an advertisement that is running against a keyword towards top of search, you have, a high percentage of top of search, does not mean you are always showing up for that top of search, right? When people search for it. A great example of this is this idea that top of search percentage, you can actually filter by that on the actual ad campaign, and it will tell you what percentage of the time you appear in that top of search. You can have a huge bid adjustment. You can have, you know, paying $5 per click more than the next guy. Doesn't necessarily mean that you are always going to be 100% of the time in that top of search. Amazon considers a lot of relevancy. So things such as your click-through rate on that keyword, your conversion rate on that keyword, because even though you can advertise, Amazon will not let someone, for instance, who's selling, Amazon's not going to let Triscuits, right, advertise under the keyword candle, right? Even if they're spending $100 per click, Amazon's not going to actually show them all that often because Triscuits are not relevant for candles, right? And so this is a very common thing that happens where people think that they can just bid higher and they will show up. You don't always show up. And so I would look at what your actual top of search placement percentage is. It will show you that under your actual campaign settings. And then from there, you can actually see where you're at. So that 150% placement, by the way, that's your bid adjustment. So you're basically just saying to Amazon, I will pay 150% more than whatever my bid is for the top of search placement. It doesn't mean that you're actually showing up 150% of the time, which also, I guess, doesn't make sense. How do you monitor organic rank related to how you bid? Yep, kind of two different ways. One, search query performance report. It's a great report. I would advise every single person to look at the search query performance report. And then secondarily, just Helium 10 Cerebro. Both of these are great tools for just monitoring and tracking your overall organic ranking over time. One of the easiest ways, you can do this obviously on an individual keyword level, but let's say that you want to do it from an account level as a whole to understand how you're actually improving your organic over time, right? In relation to your advertisement. So the easiest way there, Robert, to actually do that would be to look at your tacos. And the reason I say that, and I'll pull up your second question here, which is, I think, the same, but looking at your tacos is probably the easiest way. And you can even look at your tacos on a specific ASIN level, right? So understanding how much you're spending on ads for a specific ASIN versus the total amount of sales that ASIN is getting. The reason that this is a really easy way to understand if your ads are affecting your organic ranking is because if let's say you spend $1,000 in month one to net $10,000 in sales in that same month across the board, both organic and paid on one specific ASIN. And then in month two, you spend $2,000 in that month. And then you see that you also gained up to $20,000 in sales. So your actual tacos is the exact same at 10%, yet you're spending double the amount of ad spend while making double the revenue as well, right? And so if you see that, that means that you are likely increasing your organic over time, the amount of organic sales you have, right, in relation to how much you are spending on ad spend. Now, there's a very easy kind of way to calculate this out at the end of the day to understand truly if it makes sense to do that and what your specific tacos number should be. Some people are a little bit higher, some are going to be a little bit lower, right? But the core of it is basically that if your ad spend increases, but your total sales, organic and paid, increases at the same percentage in relation to it, then it doesn't necessarily mean you're spending poorly in any way, shape, or form. So that's usually how I best judge my ads to my organic. This product can't be added because the ASIN has stranded inventory and no active offer. I do have this ASIN as FBA/FBM. As FBM has nothing with FBA stock, I'm confused. Any thought? Do I need to go and change the FBM to FBA? Yeah, you can't send inventory in to FBA for an FBM listing. It has to be FBA. So when you do this, you can create two SKUs under the same ASIN, one of them being FBM and the other one being FBA. You do need to solve the stranded inventory before you do that. The reason you probably have stranded inventory is because you changed that listing over to FBM. You have to have the listing as FBA. You can't have one SKU that is both being fulfilled by Amazon, but also being fulfilled by you at the same time. Mag's strategy of start low price and raise in 5% increments is something I was skeptical about as a beginner, but I tried it with a few organic sale only products. Sales started snowballing, uh, almost as if customers really don't notice the small price increases, because they don't, because they're not the same customer. You're selling to different people. But what the customer does see is that it's a product that is within a price bracket that they are willing to buy. It's probably cheaper than your competitors. It's probably better than your competitors. And the idea behind this is that essentially you're just trying to gain sales. You're trying to increase your organic ranking, your click through rate, your conversion rate as quickly as possible, right? And that's what the idea of starting at such a low price and then ranking up over time is. If you can eat it into your profits and everything for the first 90 days to do that, it's an amazing, amazing strategy. Not everyone can, of course, but the fact that you can sounds fantastic. It is just something that I encourage everyone to do at the end of the day. Let's see. For mature, if our mature campaigns who are performing well immediately lose orders, what to do? Couple of different things can happen here. One, it could be an ASIN specific issue. So I would check to see if you have a hidden suppression on your ASIN. That's one of the first things I would check. You can do that by just taking your ASIN and throwing it into the search bar. If it doesn't show up, that means you have a hidden suppression of some kind. The secondary thing that this could be as well is that you suddenly had some form of negation on the campaign that you didn't mean to. It could be a major bid change. It could be a bid adjustment. It could also be the fact that it's January 1 and nobody's buying anything. All of these are very common occurrences, especially right now. A couple of different ways to handle them. If you also go over to our YouTube channel and type in the word impressions, I have a video that goes over all of that. And that's one thing I would also check here, Habiba, is are you losing impressions and clicks, or are you just losing conversions? If you're just losing conversions, might be that you're getting targeted by a competitor who has a very similar product now. People are just clicking off it. It might be that there's something wrong with your product detail page. If you're losing clicks, I would check out your main image. That might be the issue. If you're losing impressions and you don't have impressions, that's a bigger issue with the campaign and the ASIN as a whole. So it just means your product's not even being shown anymore. Thanks, bro. Can you show me how to find a good CTR that I can compare to? Right now, I'm about 1.5% CTR. I've heard there's a section on brand analytics, but can't seem to find it. Are you looking for an organic CTR, or are you looking for a paid CTR? You can't actually compare your CTR. You can't compare your CTR to others, right? So the only thing you can, I guess, technically do here, and I guess I can pull this up, is you can go to your brand analytics, and let me share my screen here. So if you're under your brand analytics, under your search here, you can again go to things like search query performance. You can do an ASIN view, figure out just one of the ASINs you want to look at. Let's do that. And you can, well, I guess this was probably a bad one. Let's just do brand view. You can essentially look at what the total count is for each of these, right? So here's one, door stoppers, 1.4 million. Brand share is 0.24%, right? And you can pull that all the way down into clicks, right? So 0.29% of people click specifically on this brand, right? So that's the easiest way to look at it from like a keyword basis organically. So on, typically speaking, I'm going to be looking somewhere in the ballpark of a 1.5 to 3.5%, usually, as a low end. And then 3 to 5% is what I would consider really, really healthy for an organic high relevancy click-through rate on average across the board. And then for ads, anything over a 0.75% click-through rate is what I would consider good. Anything above a 1% click-through rate on ads is excellent, and you're likely underspending. So keep those in mind, and hopefully that helps you a little bit. But there's no way to compare yourself directly to another product, unfortunately. If our product is not performing well or dead, should we spend on ads or just wait for organic orders? You should probably spend on ads. You should not just wait around and hope that something organic happens, because your ranking is just going to continue decreasing. Over time, that is what will happen. We do have a course on Amazon or on Mag School. You can check out as well. That is reviving sales on Amazon. Great course to just kind of go through a variety of methods around reviving sales. I would encourage you to go take a look at that. It'll probably answer a lot of your questions there. But yeah, definitely spend on ads. How are you adjusting pricing in January? Are you holding Q4 price points or reverting to pre-holiday margins? Usually reverting to pre-holiday margins. So there's not as much buyer intent going into January, right? And so you don't want to essentially kind of curb yourself. Usually during holiday times, I actually am a big proponent of raising your prices during the holidays. And so what I mean by essentially reverting is that you're basically lowering your price back down to what it normally would be, right? Going in January. And like I said, there's not as much buyer intent. So people are more likely to purchase a little bit lower priced than they would a little bit higher. So really depends on what you were kind of doing during Q4, but reverting is always going to be the better option going in January, just because you need to kind of clean slate, reset everything as well. Amazon is not allowing me to create a coupon for my overstocked inventory. Do you know if there's a way to get them to turn that on for me so I can create coupons? No. So typically speaking, if you can't create a coupon for specific types of inventory, I'd be kind of curious why. So the only time that you shouldn't be able to create a coupon is if you already have a pricing error of some kind and you're already like too low price. So I would check to make sure that your coupon doesn't have like a minimum, or that your product doesn't have like a minimum set pricing standard, because that would essentially remove your ability for a coupon. I haven't heard that, an overstocked item. What you could do, actually, now I think about it, is one thing you could do is you could push your product onto, what is it called? Not overstock. Amazon has Amazon Outlet. That's what it is. So you could push a lot of inventory if you have like overstocked inventory onto Amazon Outlet with a deal of some kind. I've used that a couple of times in the past if I'm just trying to clear through some inventory. Works okay. It's not great by any means, and Amazon doesn't really advertise it, but it has a decent enough customer base who is specifically, looking for that. So you could do that. That's probably one aspect. You could also run, a quick lightning deal on it. You could run a brand tailored promotion on it. There's a lot of different ways outside of just coupon. Strike through will probably do exactly what you're wanting it to as well. So if I add a brand story to my listing, will it reset my rankings? No, has nothing to do with rankings. Are you launching any new bundles or variations in Q1? What data helped you decide which products to group or relist? I mean, not off the top of my head, I'm not personally doing any of that, right? What I would say is if you're thinking of launching new bundle or variation, Q1 is probably a good time to do it. It depends on obviously what the product is and what you're trying to sell. Amazon recently has been doing some tests as well around the idea of specific categories have variations showing up with all of the variations on the search. So each of them are ranking, even though it's under one parentage, which is kind of converse to what it used to be. So that's kind of interesting. So now probably is a good time to test out some variations, see if you can have a variation with all those reviews while still taking up a bunch of, the actual search feed as well. So could, but really depends just category and what you're trying to do with it. The new shipment window is frustrating. I've gotten violation warnings because they won't allow me to change the week once we're in that same week. They used to let you do that. They haven't let you do that in a long time though. But one time a year right now, Viper, so they don't have a lot of, I think, leeway logistics wise, which is why they're not laying it during this time of year. You can usually try and work with them during, like, let's say like a May or an April, right? Like a very, very slowish month, right? Around that type of thing. But one, it's just time of year. And two, I haven't known them to allow it during the same week all the time for a while now. It's been quite a while since I last saw that being the case. But granted, I don't usually even try it because it's not necessary, so to speak. It can be frustrating though if they're not allowing it. Thanks for answering my prior question. I want to go deeper. From the concept of organic rank importance, I maybe have assumed something. I have thought that our sponsored ads fulfill several goals, one of which is to establish organic rank. I have assumed that there is a method in a common practice that once a organic rank is at a desired position or good position, that in turn enables the sponsored ad bid to be reduced and possibly then the organic rank to gain more from more of the sales from that. I don't know where the second part of his question is. It just ends with a P. Let's see. I don't know where the second part is. It ends with a P. Hold on. I think I can go to LinkedIn and I can see this over on LinkedIn. Let me just read the ending of this here for you, Robert, over LinkedIn. Mute myself here because there we go. No, I don't even see Robert's comment here on LinkedIn. So unfortunately I can't. Yeah, so well, let me answer this. So I'm gonna get this off my screen here, Robert. Oh, it's in Facebook. Ah, that's the problem. Somebody on the back end told me it's in Facebook. My bad. Let me do this. So let me just answer up to this point, Robert. So yes, paid and sponsored ads do help affect organic ranking. And it's interesting that you bring this up because one of the things that we actually put out every single year, Robert, is this idea of like what fully shows off or like works for SEO. What are our SEO factors, right? And so we put this together every single year. And so this year, and I will share my screen here. This is our SEO factors this year. So you'll see here that number one thing is organic sales. Number two, click-through rate. Number three, conversion. Number four, PPC sales. Now, when you're specifically thinking about organic ranking and the importance of it, right, and how sponsored ads affect that organic ranking, the biggest thing to understand is that organic ranking, yes, can be helped by sponsored ads, but is not necessarily the only piece of the puzzle. And it's not necessarily that you are going to be able to, at some point in time, just turn off your ads entirely and then just get organic sales, because there's always going to be somebody who is advertising against things. Even if you are rank one position within a category and under a specific keyword, someone else can take that rank one position from you just like that. And they're always going to be trying to. So yes, you will be able to, at some point in time, stop advertising on specific keywords or pull back your ads on those keywords because you have a high enough organic ranking. But that usually, like I said, only comes to at the point of being like rank one, rank two within a specific keyword, within a specific category. And again, you're still going to have at least nominal ads against certain things. The idea of essentially this as well is that, like I said, organic sales build everything. We like to typically say for every one PPC sale, you should see 2 to 3 organic sales over the next 6 months. So the goal of using PPC when you're trying to get your organic rank up is basically add fuel to the fire. Does it have as much impact to organic ranking as just an organic sale on that keyword? No. But does it essentially have half the amount of impact? Yeah, about that much, right? It's about half the impact as an actual organic sale is. And so it's very, very good to essentially just utilize that PPC while you're growing. But you're never going to fully just get rid of your sponsored ads at the end of the day. How can I automate review request? There's a ton of different softwares out there. So you can find literally just tons and tons and tons of different softwares that talk about review requests. Like the only thing you want to look for is just make sure that they connect into Amazon, and all they do is they automate Amazon's request a review function. You don't want them reaching out via email. You don't want them reaching out via customer messaging. You just want to automate the request a review function on Amazon. What's your formula for forecasting Q1 demand when January is historically erratic for your niche? You got to look at, I mean, that's the thing, the historicals of it, right? So look first and foremost at your historicals. Even if it's erratic for your niche, it's one of those things that it should have been erratic years prior, and it will likely follow a very similar path and function, right? Forecasting is one of those things where you need to have history to be able to accurately do it. you can't really forecast entirely just based on vibes and on the data of other people. You can, however, take competitor data and competitor sales data and build that into a function where you can see competitor A, competitor B, competitor C all have a general slump of sales of X amount during this time frame. So I also, in turn, will likely have that slump in sales as well. So these are the type of things that you should be kind of looking at. Continuation to my previous question. So by changing the FBM to FBA, how would that change this situation? Would that solve the send to FBA issue? Yes. You can't send inventory to FBA under an FBM listing. You can only send inventory to FBA under an FBA listing. So you have to have your listing be fulfilled by Amazon to send inventory into Amazon. The way to get around this without having your listing have a weird lull period without inventory, like I said, would be to create a new SKU under the same exact ASIN. This allows you to have both an FBM fulfilled SKU and an FBA fulfilled SKU. So you can send inventory in under that FBA fulfilled SKU, and while you're waiting for that inventory to get sent in, still fulfill orders under your FBM. But then once the inventory hits FBA, the FBA inventory takes priority as far as fulfillment for people purchasing. My store health has started increasing. Is this something that builds up over time of staying compliant? Yeah, it just builds up over time. The longer you're compliant, the more it builds up. There's no magic to it. It's just stay compliant. Amazon doesn't give out rewards for this or anything. It just is basically a good job pat on the back. You're staying compliant. But if you're not compliant, Amazon, hits you over the top of the head and says, hey, what are you doing? Do you guys have a course on MAG that shows how to read the data on the brand analytics dashboard? I don't think we have a specific brand analytics course. We have brand registry. Yeah, I don't think we have a specific brand analytics course here. What we do have, though, as well, that you probably should look into is just on our YouTube page. I've recorded, I know, in at least the last 3 months, if not even longer than that, at no less than probably 3 to 5 different videos on brand analytics. I would head on over to our YouTube and check that out. Doesn't look like we have much on the Mag School side, but potentially you could just find some stuff there. But I know for a fact, brand analytics wise, we've done a lot. And then there's also somebody earlier who was asking about troubleshooting. I just looked. We also have our troubleshooting playbook under Mag School courses to check out there. All right. Robert over on Facebook, not LinkedIn. I appreciate your help. Here's another question from my product. You might see a seasonal, but startups higher sale. You might see a season up higher sales in February, peaks in July, August, and starts a decline then to December, which is a sharp decline. Something I noticed happened to me last year was as the time frame went into decline, and I found myself reducing bids. They ended up going to the point where then when the incline started, some of them seemed to have gotten lost, meaning that their bid was at a place where the incline of, I don't have the rest of this. We have team members on the back end that you guys don't get to see, Gil and Zell, and Gil was ahead of this one. Incline of sales exceeded them so much that I did not recognize my need to increase because the keyword ended up not selling at all, giving me no indications that I needed to raise the bid. In hindsight, I think I should have been paying attention to the suggested bid, but I didn't. My question is, how would you handle that type of thing? Is it literally just as simple as watching and following the suggested bid, knowing the decline and incline occurs, or is there something other, some other thought, and what one would occur? What I'm dyslexic today, apparently, going in 2026. What one would do? Thank you. Yeah. So couple of different things with this, I think, Robert. So the biggest thing is you you don't watch the suggested bid, right? There's a lot more nuance that goes into your ads than the suggested bid. So, for instance, if you see that you are starting to get more impressions, right, and more clicks on your ads, that's a great indication that you should likely be focusing heavier on that ad. Another thing is, as well, is you need to just be watching the overall search volume of your keywords. So you can do this via something like Cerebro, Helium 10. You can just go in and you can put specific keywords to watch what their search volume is and how much it is going up or down over a rolling 30-day period. This allows you then to basically see and look at and say, oh, I'm starting to see search volume for X specific relevant keyword that I sell go up all the time. I should likely increase my budget and increase my bids for those keywords. That's how you should be looking at this. I wouldn't look at just like suggested bid. That's not going to tell you anything, right? So first off, it's a not a great number to go off of anyways, usually for most things, because suggested bid takes into account top of search, product pages, rest of search. It takes into account audiences now as well. So it's a big thing where I wouldn't really focus so much on suggested bid and focus more on essentially search volume and where you're seeing impressions come through, clicks come through, and if you're seeing those increase or decrease, and then you can adjust your budgets and bids dependent on that. A comment from Instagram. I have 6 variations right now, and my products are new with 0 reviews. Okay. Ooh. Sorry, I yawned there. Should I run PPC on single variation as automatically when customer clicks on ad, they'll see the other variations as well? Yes and no. So typically for things like this, I would run against, just create one auto campaign for all 6 and just add them in. There's nothing wrong with that. Eventually you will see that 1 or 2 of your variations becomes your hero variations. From there, you essentially focus very heavily on the ad side on those hero variations and let the other ones be essentially kind of incremental sales that come off of the backs of those hero variations. But you should always be advertising each of your variations regardless, just because they can all show up at the same time. And what are the implications of higher store health? Like I said, a good old pat on the back and you're doing good. Amazon views store health very much as we set this number that we expect you to stay at. If you stay at it, good, you're meeting the requirement. If you don't stay at that number, bad, you're doing something wrong and we are going to punish you for that. There's no special reward for, higher store health. It's more of, there's just a punishment for not high store health. I launched at $129.99, got Vine sales and some F&F there. Okay. Dropped price to, I don't know why I'm yawning. Dropped price to $99.99, gained some sales, but inconsistently. Cost is $35-ish. If I drop price, I probably get more sales, but at nearly break even or loss. Worth it to drop price to spark sales and some velocity. Cost per click is high, upwards of $5 to $7 of my niche. No, not necessarily. So I wouldn't just drop price just to get sales. You could throw on like some discounts on there, right? But you need to understand basically 2 different things. One, are you getting clicks and impressions? Are you getting conversions? That's the only thing you should focus on right now. If your goal is just short-term growth, essentially, of your organic through basically a price decrease, you could absolutely throw on a major discount, say 20, 25%, right? Bring yourself down to, let's say, like $75, which would put your cost of goods at like 50%, which is kind of high, to be honest. That's a little bit higher than I probably would be okay with in most instances, but not awful by any means. That said, you're going to be probably in kind of a rough area with that. Now, the question I would have to you is that you're selling at $100, your cost is $35-ish. I'm assuming you mean your cost of goods, not Amazon fees or anything like that, because of the break even or the loss. To me, that's a very kind of tricky area to be in because you're just selling a very high cost product. It's not really a impulse buy product and your cost of goods is really high. So why is it so high? Are your competitors lower? Are they selling cheaper than you? How are you showcasing your price? Is this a luxury version of a product? All these are going to be kind of factors, but the biggest thing you need to focus on is just clicks and conversions. You're likely getting, you're going to give people sticker shock, right? That's just going to be the case. You're going to give people sticker shock, but as long as you have essentially, as long as you have a reason for your price tag within your listing that can convert people, that's what is going to matter, and focus very heavily on those conversions. Ooh, I like this question. What's the biggest mistake new sellers make? I could take this so many different ways, but there's kind of like some very common ones. The biggest or probably not the biggest mistake, but the most common mistake that I see is sellers believing the Amazon gurus out there who basically say you can find a product, launch it, and spend $100 a month on ads and get $30,000 in returns. Right? Like it's common trope, but it's things that I still see in this day and age. People don't understand that, especially in like high volume niches like supplements or health and food and things like that. It's just, you need to have an ad budget. You just have to. You can't just get by with $200 a month, right? I think the biggest mistake I see a lot of sellers make is probably product market fit more than anything. A lot of sellers will typically skip the steps of their product of like verifying, like what are they paying for the product? What are they launching or how are they launching the product? They don't think about the long-term picture. They kind of just look at the numbers as just that, numbers. They're like, oh, I'm selling a product for $50. My cost of goods is $10. And they don't think about all of the other costs that go into that, right? They don't think about their shipping. They don't think about Amazon fees. They don't think about their advertising. And so they think they have this great product that they can launch, and then they forget all of the things that require them to be profitable. And so then cash flow is just strapped from the start, and they're trying to bootstrap it. You can't bootstrap an Amazon launch at this point in time. Like you just can't, right? I advise people minimum like 10K investment into an Amazon launch at this point in time, just if you want to have like some decency of success. That can be intermingled in a couple of different ways between like product costs, ad spend, hiring an agency, doing whatever you need, right? Like those are the different things that are just a requirement at the end of the day. So I think the biggest mistake people make is just getting into way over their head before they actually know what they're doing. How are you using Amazon search query performance in January to find new keyword trends? I mean, you don't necessarily use Amazon search query performance for just new keyword trends. I mean, the only thing you do in the sense of you're always going to be looking at your search query performance report to find new keywords, but I don't know why you're including January. Nothing changes about January compared to any other month in how you use search query performance for finding keywords. I think it's the best way to go about that. How do you handle negative reviews? You sell more product and get more positive reviews to bury it. Many sellers say Amazon FBA wholesale is risk-free compared to private label. But with rising competition, price wars, and brand restrictions, do you think it's really sustainable long-term, or is it just a quick profit game that will eventually collapse for most sellers? There's kind of two lines of thoughts on this. So if we're talking about Amazon wholesale, that's actually not wholesale, and it's just like OA, online arbitrage. Online arbitrage or even retail arbitrage is dying. It's a dying breed. The margins just aren't there at the end of the day. There's so much price. It's not a get rich quick. Amazon is not risk free. It's not get rich quick. It doesn't work, right? And online arbitrage is getting significantly more difficult with rising competition. Now, if we're talking about the idea of like actual wholesale, I think wholesale as a business model is fantastic. Still to this day, if you can get a brand to give you like rights exclusions to wholesaling and selling their product on Amazon, That's a great thing. We have clients who are like that. We have tons of clients who, they don't even own the brand. They're just selling, multiple other people's brands, but they have exclusionary rights. Like that's the best way to do wholesale, in my opinion. Now, are any of these ever going to be as profitable or as good of models as, private label? No, they're just not. Like, unless you get to the point of being the size of Pattern, right? You're not going to be doing a ton with wholesale. The only reason, and honestly, most people can't. Most people cannot get to the size of Pattern. And, at the end of the day, wholesale is a difficult model just because it is inherently very low margin to start with because of the fact that you are the middleman as a wholesaler. You are the middleman. You are trying to scrape by on sub 10% margins, right? Profit margins. And so that can get eaten up in different ways very, very quickly. A single return can ruin the next 5 orders profit margins, basically. I can see no way to improve this main image because of the amount of items. Any suggestions? ASINs. I won't do a main image review right now, but maybe in a little bit. Or if you send a message on over to podcast@myamazonguy.com, I'll just review it afterwards. I'll send you a quick email on it. Hey, Noah, do VCPM can't VCMP? It's VCPM, not MP, but either way. Campaigns impact organic ranking. I've observed an improvement in organic ranking after turning VCPM off. They can help with search volume increase. So I kind of hate these campaigns in their reporting because they make it seem very much like they have this super low ACoS because they focus on viewable per milli, basically. That's why it's not MP, it's per milli. It's viewable clicks per milli, basically, which is like however many views equals X amount of potential sales. Anyways, they're great for impressions. They're amazing for impressions. They're amazing for awareness, which is why you can potentially see some increase in organic, right? But it's also that they are going to make it seem like your organic is way lower than it is because it's going to say, oh, all of these awareness, impressions, and everything are coming from my VCPM campaign, which basically means that I am or it is responsible for this, and therefore it won't show up as an organic sale. It'll show up as a paid sale, even though it's realistically probably organic and it's just built off of an awareness campaign. Thanks for answering my questions. What strategy should we implement after Q4 since we lose sales at the beginning of Q1? The biggest thing right now to focus on, right, is kind of just recouping everything, taking all of the audience segmentation, taking all of your ad data from all of Q4 and understanding where your product sits. Have you gained ranking organically? Have you lost ranking organically? Where are your competitors, right? Have your competitors overtaken you during Q4? Did your competitors do? Was their pricing significantly less? Did they run more deals than you? What was the primary factors? Did you have a higher, lower ACoS tacos during this time, right? Take all of these factors from a data perspective and understand how you performed in Q4 to best assess what you need to improve in Q1, whether that's your click-through rate, whether that's your conversion rate. Did you perchance have, a 5% click-through rate all through Q4, but your conversion rate was only 6%? Maybe, I don't know, right? But that's something that you need to understand to then know where you need to optimize first and foremost in Q1. How are you leveraging multi-channel fulfillment in Q1 to offset slow FBA restocks? Well, I mean, offset slow FBA restocks and multi-channel fulfillment kind of go against each other. I think because multi-channel fulfillment is fulfilled through FBA, right? So you wouldn't leverage multi-channel fulfillment, MCF, to offset FBA, and it would be FBM, I think is what you're asking. I mean, we always, like I said, set up an FBA and FBM SKU for anyone that can. Always make sure to have inventory in stock. Do not go out of stock. It's the number one sin on Amazon is going out of stock. So don't do that. Yeah. Tips to increase ASIN creation limit. I have 550,000 ASINs so far, but need more. Why? Genuinely, why? I would love to know. I would love to hop on a call with you. I want to look at your Amazon account. If you give me the opportunity and you reach out, podcast@myamazonguy.com, I would love to hop on and look at your account and talk through this and figure out why. The reason I am so intrigued in this, I personally have only been on 2 accounts, larger than ASIN count wise, larger than yours. One had at the time 783,000 ASINs. The other one and whatnot at one point in time had 1.2 million ASINs. The core thing between any account I have looked at over 1,000 ASINs, anything from that 1,000 to that 1.2 million, is that 99.99% of their ASINs did not sell on a monthly basis, if not only once per year. And about 99.99% of their revenue came from less than 100 to less than 500 ASINs. So I'm very curious to know why you need more than 550,000 right now. I can also walk you through how to get above that limitation on your ASINs as well, but I want to see the account as payment. So shoot me an email, Butler Staged. I would love to see this, and I would love to help you out here. And I love seeing weird, interesting accounts like this as well. So there you go. A little quick pro quo for you there. Comment from IG. Isn't it better to run PPC on a single ASIN and a variation on the lower cost ASIN and get automatic sales for the high cost product so organic ranking improves automatically? I think what you're asking is basically, can you just advertise a product on a parentage that's like showing up as $10 and hoping that the people that click the $10 product are going to upsell themselves into the $40 product? And that's not really how it works, right? You're not going to get the same exact customers who are open to clicking the $10 product who would also purchase the $40 product, right? Price comparison is a really big thing. And even if it's, a few dollars difference, it still matters at the end of the day. You're going to get different buyers and different clicks for a $15 product versus a $10 product. You just will. And so that's why you advertise against everything else. We've had a product in the food category has 8 variations and only 1 variation gets sales, although we target other variation as well. Should we focus on the most in-demand variation or also push the others? I would focus first and foremost on the most in-demand, but you should always have at least some incremental targeting on the others, if not just at the very least, kind of some self-targeting on those so you can kind of make sure that you're keeping all of the sales within your own pipeline. It's probably the easiest way to go about that. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is the last question I think we're going to do today. So all that being said, again, great questions today. Butler Staged, shoot me an email. I'm not kidding. I want to see your account. I think a couple other people I told to send an email over to podcast today as well. But yeah, shoot those emails. Happy to help you guys out. For those uninitiated or unaware as to who we are, or what we do, all of that fun jazz, we are My Amazon Guy. We are an Amazon direct-to-consumer agency, the one that gets your products seen and sold. All that being said, if you have any needs on Amazon, you can head over to our website, check out our services. We do everything from full service account management all the way down to just a single main image, right? Or even, just some coaching calls. You need some coaching or you want some consulting, feel free to reach out to us. We're more than happy to help you guys out. We even do things such as product photography. You have a Shopify site that you're trying to optimize and you're trying to get some more customers through, check out our direct-to-consumer services. More than happy to help you out. You can always book a call. You can always just go directly to our full service management, book a call right on the page, talk to one of my team members or myself personally. Who knows? But all that being said, Happy New Year, everybody. Excited for 2026. We are going to grow. We are going to thrive this year. And I hope everyone has a great weekend ahead. And I will see you all next week, 12 p.m. Eastern. See you, everybody.